Cuffs are off, man. Get right. Too many left in these leagues, but I ain't gonna...
Hey everybody, Adam Rank here.
What's up everybody? It's Marcus Grant from NFL Network.
This is AJ Dillon of the Green Bay Packers.
I got to give a shout out to y'all at Get Right Fantasy.
If you are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? You want to lose your league?
Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network.
You got to get right with the Get Right Fantasy Network.
Best of luck with your podcast. Appreciate the support.
And you're tuned in to watch my boys at Get Right Fantasy Network. Get you right. Enjoy the show.
Marking often, but I tune every Friday. Strategies provided, I will lock in every way. So go and roll your sleeves up, yeah. Go and roll your sleeves up. And I'm getting down, cause I roll my sleeves up. And I'm getting right, cause I roll my sleeves up.
What up? What up? What up, world? We are back. I'm Anthony, aka Rasta. This is Get Right Fantasy Network. It's Monday, August 28th, and that means only 9 more days until NFL football starts. Week 1, Chiefs, Lions, September 7th. It's almost here. Only just over a week away, man. I'm here with my boy Fishing Frank, who was fishing this weekend. Yeah. What's up, Frank? How you doing?
What's up, peoples? A little late, but never late to never, right?
Exactly. Better late than never. We got Ron calling us out, as he always is. What's up, Ron? How's it going? Glad you're here. Yeah. We had some issues going on. You know, we got stuff going on here, man. We do this for fun for you guys, man, but we'll never miss it. We're here for you. Maybe we might miss one here or there, but for the most part, we're here with you, the degenerates here. Get right. We got your guys' backs here. So appreciate you for sticking out with us, man, joining the stream. If you guys got questions or anything to contribute, drop them in the chat as always. Always here to take your questions here on the live streams. But tonight, we're doing our overreaction Monday to the preseason, week 3, the final preseason week. You know, we'll talk about our risers, our fallers. You know, we got announcement. We have our, top 3, top 6 that we're announcing for the mock draft tournament of champions finale. So those will be announced here tonight as well. We'll get into, of course, news and notes around the league. We got Josh Jacobs signing. We'll talk about that. Some other news, injuries, things, roster, cuts are happening, downsizing. So a lot of stuff kind of going on as we gear up here and get ready for week 1 of real NFL football. So,
yeah, Ali Boston's already asking the thoughts on Jerry Jeudy and J.K. Dobbins this year. We'll get to that.
Absolutely.
It's in the middle of the show here.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll definitely get to that, man, for sure. So with that said, of course, we got to tell you guys about our sponsor here really quick. UnderdogFantasy.com. For those of you guys who don't know, it's an amazing best ball platform, man. They have a variety of different contests from large size tournaments with big payouts like the Best Ball Mania 4, $25 entry, $3 million are being made, $3 million to first place, $2 million to second, $1 million to third. And we also have, other contests that they have from 3, 6, 10, 12 player drafts. And basically what best ball is, for those who don't know, if you're, just kind of getting new into this, we welcome everybody around. You basically just draft a team like we do, like you're mocking, but instead, you're doing it with real money. So it's a lot more accurate. You're not, it's all people over 18. People aren't taking kickers in the 3rd round, that kind of stuff. And best ball basically means no waivers, no trading, no season-long commitment. So you can do as many as you'd like. And basically, Underdog will, they'll set the lineup for you. Your optimal lineup each week will be started, and it's going to be total points. It's a lot of fun, man. If you guys ever want to get in one with us, just let us know. And make sure when you go sign up over there, use that promo code GETRIGHT, because when you do, they will make a deposit match up to $100, match your money. So basically 2 times your money there. So make sure you guys get in there. Again, use that promo code GETRIGHT, and that helps support the show here for us so we can keep bringing this info to you. So it is unavailable in a couple states. So if you happen to be one of those states on the map here, not eligible, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Idaho, Iowa, Louisiana, Michigan, Montana, Nevada, Ontario, Canada, and Washington. But it is available in all other parts of Canada. So so again, appreciate it. Use that promo code GETRIGHT, guys. We got Wilson in the house. I don't know if you put that up already. What's up, Wilson? How's it going?
Doing the
Absolutely.
brands.
For sure. We got Fantasy Fish in the house. We got people dropping in. What's up, Fish? How's it going? Shout out to the Filthy Football Fantasy Show over there. Got in a league with them. We're going to be drafting next week, so excited to be part of their podcast league there. I'll be representing, for Get Right over here in that podcast league. So hopefully your boy does well. So let's get into it, man. I know people are here for the announcement. We're going to tease it. We'll make you wait a little bit, but let's go ahead and announce those top 6. Guys, we'll do order 6, 5, and 4, which will be the alternates for this week's finale, which will happen again this Friday, September 1st. So with that said, just to let you guys know, we've been running a mock draft tournament. You may not know what that is, but basically we run a 12-team mock draft Monday through Friday. The 4 of us here on Get Right, we rank our teams 1 through 6. We give 6 points to the first place team, 5 to second, 4 to third, so on and so forth, all the way down to 6 getting just 1 point. And basically, whoever scores the most points, the top 3, move on and get an invite to the Friday semifinal. And then we kind of repeat that same process for all 4 of the semifinal rounds to create basically the best of the best, the top 12 drafters after an entire month's period. And basically, we have 9 of those guys waiting by right now, and 3 more will be joining them this week to kick it off for the finale. And that finale will actually be a real draft. It's going to be a best ball draft, same setup exactly like the underdog settings, which is 1 QB, 3 wide receiver, 1 flex, half PPR, 4 point per passing touchdowns. And we're going to actually play that thing out. So instead of us ranking it, we're actually going to play it out, and it'll be a full 18 rounds instead of our normal 15 that we do. So you get some extra rounds there to build out your entire best ball team. And basically, the winner is going to take home the $50 cash prize. So,
and it's going to be live stream next Friday, right?
Yeah, and we'll be live streaming that mock this Friday, the September 1st, 9 p.m. Pacific, just so you guys know. So hopefully we'll catch you guys there. And let's go ahead and announce those top 6 or the places 4 through 6. So we'll start with number 6 here. We can bring up the draft board here. Give me a second. Boom. So we got the draft board here. And you'll see here our 6th place team, Mr. Jay Baloney, drafting here out of the 9 spot. He goes Bijan Robinson, Devontae Adams, Mark Andrews, Jonathan Taylor, Justin Fields, Christian Kirk, Michael Pittman, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Treylon Burks. Goes Rashad Penny, Raheem Mostert, Dalton Kincaid, Kenny Gainwell, and rounds it off with Darnell Mooney, who might be a trade candidate, I heard, coming out today. So, we're not going to go in full breakdowns on this, but this was our consensus 6th ranked team. So, Jay Baloney, again, we appreciate you coming out. You will be one of the alternates should the guys in front of you not make it in. So again, just make sure you kind of hang around and, just try again next year, man. We had probably over 60, 70 drafters, that, drafted with us here in the last month. And, we wish we can get everybody in, but unfortunately it's just the top 12. So, you've had some nice teams, Jay Baloney. I've made it to the semifinals a couple times. But when you're facing the top 3 of every draft, it's tough. And sometimes it just comes down to your draft pick and who's in there with you. To see what guys fall to you. So again, we appreciate it. Congratulations here on 6th place, and we'll move on. So we have the 5th place team here coming in, Mr. Mason Routhier, drafting right next to him here in the 10th spot. And Frank, do you happen to have your screen open there? You want to read it off, or
I don't have.
All right. I'll read it off. I just, I've been hearing myself talk this whole time already. I thought I'd give you some airtime there.
Yeah, gotcha. Thank you, though.
So, I could go all day. So Mason here from the 10 spot goes Stephon Diggs, Tony Pollard, Joe Mixon, Justin Herbert, grabs his tight end with Delaney Walker, grabs Scary Terry as his wide receiver 2, RB3, David Montgomery, grabs his wide receiver 3, Gabe Davis, followed by Courtland Sutton and Elijah Moore. Gets his RB4 and Devin Singletary, goes receiver again and Jonathan Mingo, doubles up with Carolina, goes Chuba Hubbard there towards the end, and then grabs his backup tight end and Luke Musgrave, who I do like, have him on several best ball teams. because I'm later great. But some of the reasons why, get the double up with Mingo and Chuba there. Just to, having Davis as your wide receiver 3, I prefer him as a 4. So again, a couple reasons why he finished here towards the end, but still overall made our consensus 5th ranked team. So again, congratulations, Mason. Appreciate you coming out with us, man. Hopefully you get in again next year. And he's in one of our listener leagues anyway, so I'll be keeping up with them throughout the year.
Now, do you have any of the numbers that are KJ Flint, right? One of our listeners, and I think he's in this draft. Is he in this draft?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, so
He's in the
KJ
3
Flint
spot.
decided to run some stats on us and just to kind of see which teams we were ranking higher and what players we chose better. And it was interesting to see some of those numbers because we really don't talk to each other about who's picking who, right? That we try to keep that very separated so that everybody has their unbiased opinion of who they like better. And that way, when we, do the scoring, it just comes out naturally as to, like if all 3 of us or 4 of us like these specific team, it is a consensus of without bias, basically, without anybody seeing what the other guy drafted or liked, their rankings. So that way it has a true winner with no extra input. So I just thought it was interesting numbers. Do you have those stats that he pulled up?
He didn't give me the full things. I just had kind of a couple things and a couple players. It's in my direct message. I'd have to go try to find it, but we may break that down another time.
Yeah,
but yeah, he's working on it.
People are doing some stuff like that, which I was going to give
it's really cool.
pretty soon, KJ Flint. So don't worry, I'll send you a direct message.
Absolutely, no, he's the man. Really appreciate that. It's interesting just seeing kind of our consensus. Top guys, teams that advance. What players were on there, what type of builds. A lot of them took tight ends late. Didn't like the quarterback too early. That kind of thing. So it was interesting just to see kind of all of us together. So. Absolutely. And business circuit, we see here on what's the best pick on an 8-man. We're going to get to that here in just a second. So we will definitely address that here for you. So once we get done with our last announcement here, our 4th place team, our first alternate, in case one of the top 3 doesn't make it, Mr. Brocal, Ambassador Extraordinaire, Brocal 44, drafting here out of the 7th spot goes Saquon Barkley, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Hurts, DJ Moore, George Kittle, Deontay Johnson, Johan Dotson. Ooh, try to say that 3 times fast. Deontay Johnson and Johan Dotson. Ooh, that's a tough one. AJ Dillon, Samaje Perine, Devon Achane, Rashee Rice, one of my boys here. Didn't look too great this preseason. We'll get into that. Or not the preseason, but just this last game after a monster week last week, 96 yards. Goes Dalton Schultz is his tight end 2. And ends it off with Van Jefferson and Dante Foreman, who got a little banged up this weekend as well. So again, congratulations, Brocal. Nice build. A lot of names on here that we like. Those first, top picks are fantastic. Probably would have scored a little higher had you not gone Kittle there and maybe just grabbed another position player, maybe a Christian Watson or, someone else there. But again, I can't hate it. Again, so it came in as the 4th ranked team. So first alternate. Congratulations, Brocal. So that's that. So we'll get into the rest of it here as the show goes on. We'll announce the top 3. Got to tease you guys a little bit here. Keep you hanging around for a minute. But yeah, so we'll move on here. We'll move on to some of our news and notes. So we had a big news kind of item that happened since we were last here on Friday. Raiders star Josh Jacobs agrees to a 1-year deal worth up to $12 million. So they reached an agreement on terms there, basically playing for a little more than what the franchise tag is going to be. I'm not a salary cap type guy. I don't really know how the numbers and stuff all quite work. I'm not going to admit that I do. But I believe because he did re-sign this, I don't think they can franchise tag him next year. So I think that's the real important thing. They couldn't go with that double franchise tag. So he will be a unrestricted free agent next year.
Yeah,
I believe
he resigns a 1-year contract. That's it. Then he becomes an unrestricted free agent next year. So it opens him up to be able to move on. Which
absolutely.
That means now that lends the question: are they going to
run him into the
ground, or
again,
or not? You know what I mean? Because a lot of people were kind of deciding, no, that's a false flag. Don't fall for that. I just think I just look at it as a positive sign, knowing that he's going to play. You know that
Absolutely.
that's out of the way. Regardless, I'm not saying he's going to be running the ground or not. I'm just saying it's okay to draft him now in the position that you're getting him at, because he's going in the first round, and it was crazy to me seeing people grit and getting him in that round, not knowing if he's going to play on the team, sit out, or whatever was going to happen. Missed a
Yeah.
game or two, 2 or 3 games missed, and that's your first round pick is all bad, especially when he's not injured. So
Yeah. He started falling to kind of the late second, sometimes in the third. I've seen him even go late third in some of our mocks. But yeah, initially, back in April, when we were first mocking here, coming off being the rushing champ before he was franchise tag, he was absolutely going in the first round. So that's why I think if you can get him still mid second, to me it's a steal. So there we go.
Jeezy's here.
Absolutely. What's up, Jeezy? How's it going, man?
What I miss? We're getting into it now.
Yeah, not too much. We just announced the top 6, or 4 through 6 for the finale. The guys that'll be joining you, one of the finalists already in there. So he's good. Yeah, he's good. But I meant to go back to anything else you want to add on that Josh Jacobs thing there?
He just said that they didn't pick up this option, then paid him so much more. Very stupid. I don't know.
Yeah, but they didn't tie him into like a 3-year extension or anything crazy like that. So again, I'm not going to pretend to understand how the options and all that stuff work. I just analyze what the guys do on the field. As far as fantasy goes. I'm not a Raiders fan, so I'm definitely not following their cap or anything like that. So, so again, I'll have to call someone in to be the expert on that. But I do want to get back to the business circuit's question here. What's the best pick from 8-man? I'd say an 8-man, you're just trying to get a ton of studs. You want to be top heavy on that. So I'd say, of course, number 1 pick, you want Justin Jefferson there, especially if it's full PPR, if you're doing half or.
Well, he did have a follow-up question, which was this. I think this was more important. What's the best strategy for an 8-man go?
Just your best man available. Like, you don't have to worry about building out depth. Like when you're playing in shallow league like that, you just want the top talent that you can find. Because there's going to be plenty of guys on the waiver wire. I personally would, honestly, I'd want the 101, and in an 8-man league, I'm going Travis Kelce, because the positional advantage there is so great, and they can't really make it up because you're still going to be strong at other positions, because you're not going to lose that.
You're not going to be weak on wide receiver because you're only 8-man. So I agree with Anthony.
Kelce 101 all day.
I would still go, if you don't get Kelce, I'd get two RBs off the bat, and then build off of that, do a double hero RB or whatever, just a regular standard one. Not just, you don't have to worry about it as much. Basically, there's so many guys available in an 8-man.
Just fill out your starters. Just fill them out.
Yeah, fill out your starters. Don't worry about like reaching for guys or this and that. There's no reason to do anything kind of crazy.
Yeah. Try to get one of the trio quarterbacks if you can. You want one of the top receivers if you can. You're going to get probably a top 8 guy if Kelce and Mahomes maybe go off, in that, round. And I'm not going to lie, I don't do a lot of 8-man drafts, but I know as far as the strategy goes, that's how I would adjust. And I'm definitely trying to get Kelce as early as I can. So hopefully we helped you on that a little bit there, the business circuit. Appreciate you dropping your chat. So again, anybody else has any questions, anything they want to contribute, make sure you guys drop it in the chat. Otherwise, we'll continue to move on here. So our next news topic that we have going on in the league right now, since obviously we had the Trey Lance trade that we talked about on Friday, but we have Jonathan Taylor. Basically, obviously we know he has until tomorrow as far as the trade deadline goes that Irsay set out for him. We'll see what happens. Apparently there's talks with Miami and offers on the table. There's another kind of competing offer. Apparently Indy rejected one of the offers already from Miami. I've heard different things from them looking to get something similar to what the Niners gave up for Christian McCaffrey, which I believe was like a second, a third, a fifth, and then another fifth or something like that crazy. That's not even too crazy. It wasn't like the Tyreek, 3 firsts or anything like that, or 2 firsts or something like that. But, they're looking for some type of package like that. As of right now, the Vegas odds have the Dolphins at plus 120. They have the Buccaneers at plus 350. They have the Bills at plus 450, even though I know the Bills don't really have that much cap room. Same thing with the Chiefs. They don't really have that much cap room. They're not here on the odds as far as the top 6 guys. You have the Vikings, which could definitely use the help there with only Madison at plus 800. And then you have the Saints at plus 900. I don't know if they're quite ready to contend with that roster right now, but I mean, maybe if they had Jonathan Taylor, but I mean, they have Alvin Kamara, so I don't know why the Saints are really on here. And then you have your Cowboys at plus 1,500. Maybe have Jonathan Taylor be the running mate with Tony Pollard over there. So
Crazy.
yeah, so that's as far as Vegas, where they're at. I always like to follow the money when it comes to these type of things. But even then, they're wrong a lot of the times. And it's usually one of the teams that's not linked in the discussions that just comes out of the woodwork and ends up getting the trade done. So it's usually what you don't hear is what's really going on versus what you do hear.
Yeah, there's a lot of cannon fodder up front, right?
Exactly. So that's that on the Jonathan
Glitched out
Taylor
here.
news.
Sorry about that. I could tell I'm like just slow.
Oh, it's all right. I can hear you well.
The audio's
so
fine, so we're good. Don't worry about it.
we're good. We're good. So there we are. Last kind of big news topic we have, at least was big news to me. Not news to me, but something I don't want to say it's like an I told you so. But we have the Arizona Cardinals quarterback. You guys all know him, Kyler Murray, tore his ACL in December last year, week 14. People saying, oh, he might be ready to go week 1. He's not ready. He's going to start you didn't bring up I thought that was giving you time to bring up the, boom. See, we're trying to get fancy over here. Oh, now you bring it up. All right. So we got, no, it's all good. So he's going to miss the first 4 weeks, first 4 games at least, starting the season on the reserve PUP list. Again, tearing his ACL week 14 last year. Again, like I was saying, they had people saying, oh, you might be ready for week 1. People drafted him in like the 5th, 6th round. I seen him go like as early as the 5th or 6th round, or, then people kind of started grabbing him late, which is, better. But, in a 1 QB league, I don't think he's even draftable at this point. So, or even before. I mean, he's been one of my biggest fades all off season. They've again been trading off a lot of their assets. Isaiah Simmons is gone. They're just kind of cleaning house over there. Obviously, traded DeAndre Hopkins. They're just in a rebuild right now. They're projected to win maybe 2 games this year, I think, according to Vegas. And that's about it. So, in addition to that, they actually cut Colt McCoy, who was in a quarterback competition with Clayton Tune. And if you guys remember last week, we announced that they acquired Josh Dobbs from Cleveland. Once Cleveland technically released them, and then they ended up trading him and then releasing someone else. So it got all weird with that. But that's just how the NFL works sometimes. You get these guys leaking information early before the actual transactions go through. So sometimes you have a oops on that one. So again, it's going to be Clayton Tune or Josh Dobbs as far as week 1 there in Arizona, which makes me kind of like James Conner a little more, considering he's probably the best option they have there. Obviously drops Hollywood Brown and Rondale Moore even further down my list. So we'll see what happens with those two. Any comments you have on that one? I kind of took that one over. That was my little
just
highlight
a mess,
there.
honestly. Like you're saying, I wouldn't want to mess with any of those guys unless you absolutely needed to. But just wait for Kyler. If hopefully he comes back healthy and is able to play, because he's the guy to have. Everybody else is just cannon fodder. They're just not worth rostering.
Exactly. All right. So other news here. As far as roster decisions, D'Amico Ryans announced CJ Stroud was going to be the week 1 starter. So I think we all pretty much knew that was kind of going to happen, but apparently there was officially, I guess, a competition between Stroud and Davis Mills there. So CJ Stroud will be your week 1 starter. And other minor news, the Jets released the waiver wire darling of last year once Brees went down, Mr. Zonovan Bam Knight. There was apparently some interest on the trade front, so someone could put a claim in for him come Wednesday. So just keep your eyes out on that. If you have him in Dynasty, you might want to hold on to him just a few more days to see where he ends up landing, because he did, perform pretty well at times. But obviously, it's a crowded backfield over there. They got Brees coming back. They obviously signed Dalvin Cook. They still have Michael Carter. Just a a lot going on over there. I think they even have like, oh no, Latavius Murray I think's on Buffalo, but yeah, they got a lot of running backs over there. So unfortunately, Bam Knight is not making the 53 man. So what else we got here? Going back to the
He did have this one
JT.
here. Ertz to Moon in Arizona.
He's coming off an ACL, and again, who's going to throw him the ball? I'm staying away. The only person I'm drafting on Arizona is James Conner as like my RB3. That's all I can do. You have GZ in here saying also, as a University of Wisconsin and Bucks fan, he'd love JT in Tampa Bay. As a heavy Rachaad White fantasy football shareholder, I'd cry. Same with me, man. I got White in several places this year. So yeah, I don't want to see that there. So I don't even want to speak that into existence. You got Warren saying Sean Tucker season. So yeah, Sean Tucker over at Tampa Bay. Keep an eye on him. Definitely someone. He got a little banged up this weekend, but should be fine. It was just cramps. I don't even think he got banged up. He just kind of was down on the field for a while. He walked it off. They said it was just cramps, and he's good to go. I know this is Tim from our Fantasy Frontline show here. One of his, I think he was his RB2 ahead of Gibbs heading into the rookie drafts this year. As far as Dynasty goes, he had him ranked as his number 2 running back. So just someone to keep your eye on in case Rachaad isn't that guy and they end up looking for someone else, or if Rachaad gets hurt and you have to run to the waiver wire. Tucker is probably who I'm picking up. Before what's his name over there? Jeez Louise, it'll come to me. GZ, I know you know. Who's that other running back over there?
Bonda? He's talking about over
No,
here.
that's also the Jets. That's also the Jets, man. Yeah, don't sleep on Abanikanda. Yeah, so he doesn't know the spelling on it. It's all good. So we'll get on that. We'll move on here. Got a couple other injury updates just to notify you.
Letting you know Edmonds.
Oh yeah, Chase Edmonds and somebody else. Who's that other rookie that was there like last year? There's another rookie there. I think it starts with like a J. Yeah, something Vaughn. Yeah, there you go. That's who I was talking about. So they still got Vaughn too. So good looking out, Jeezy. Good to have a Bucks fan in here when we're asking for that kind of stuff. All right, man. Right. So moving on here, we got some injury updates for you guys. And then we'll get into the top 3 finalists before we get too late here. So just a couple injury updates. Wan'Dale Robinson from your New York Giants. Well, not your. I did this again last week. I said your Patriots, but maybe someone out there is watching. Somebody out there watching is Giants. Yeah, classic Mike's Giants. Wan'Dale Robinson coming off that ACL. They're expecting him to be activated off the PUP by the Tuesday deadline. Doesn't mean he's going to be ready, but he's not going to miss the mandatory 4 games by starting it off that way. So there you go. Oh yeah, he said in Vaughn. No. I do have a couple shares of Edmonds too, by the way. Other injury news here. Returning to practice, you have Treylon Burks over in Tennessee, as well as Chigakonkwo. Both of them returned back to practice today. Burks has been off the field since suffering that LCL injury, going up for a catch in practice on August 16th. Still uncertain if he'll be ready for week 1. A lot of people are saying most likely week 2 before he's back up on the speed. So if you're kind of looking for a streaming tight end, maybe right out of the gate, I don't know who Tennessee faces week 1 right away, but Chig is set to be number 2 in targets if Burks isn't there. But all the more so reason why I drafted a lot of Hopkins this offseason. If that knee injury tends to linger and Burks misses more time, Hopkins can be looking at like Devontae Adams type target shares over there from years past. So you also have Jim Harbaugh coming out over here with the Baltimore Ravens saying there's no need to panic about the tight end Mark Andrews. He's been out of practice for a little while, but they expect him to practice this week, and they're absolutely expecting him to be ready to play week 1. So no panic. Andrews is all good. So there we go. And then one little thing I kind of wanted to note over, not necessarily an injury update here, but I thought it was hilarious. I read that Dak Prescott was actually calling plays against the Raiders this weekend. Yeah. So apparently he was actually calling up the plays, and they put like 31 points on him. It was like 31-0 or something crazy like that.
I actually have a stat for Greer. Will Greer, he went for 29 to 35, 305 yards and 2 touchdowns. on that.
Off
So,
Dak's
rating
play
of
calling, right?
122 off of Dak's play calling. So hey, that's not bad.
Is he better than
Also,
McCarthy?
also, he might be. Also, he did. I mean, because of the trade, that dude had to put in work to stay on the roster, right? Um, and there's obviously a lot of talk, and I even seen Jerry Jones talk about the fact the whole reason they grabbed him was because they want to have that competition. They want him to sit behind Dak and grow and like learn a little bit. They like his talent, yada yada yada. But at the end of the day, I think they just want that extra pressure for because Dak is coming off probably last year of his contract or whatever it is here. So that way they have somebody to back up on in the future or something like that. I'm not sure, but it's a terrible move. We don't need no Trey Lance. He's garbage.
I was going to ask you about that too. Might as well, because you weren't here on Friday when we announced it.
No,
you were driving. You were like, "Oh, I'm about to go dark," and then literally like 5 minutes later, breaking news, and I was like, "Oh, he's going to kill himself," or I probably shouldn't say that, but he's going to be very upset when he turns on his phone and sees that announcement.
No, I got a phone call. They traded him to you. They're like, "What?" And I was like, "My phone's blowing up. People are letting me know you got Trey Lance." I'm like, "Really? Come on. What are these guys?"
See, you put it in the universe, man. You Rasta Reapered yourself.
Yeah, somewhere or another, somehow.
You did it. Oh man, that's hilarious.
I don't know why. I don't get it. Jerry Jones in his crazy mind, he thinks he's somehow competition or whatever. Who knows?
I honestly think this is my theory, and just to go on this real quick, my theory is it was worth picking him up because he can ask him about everything about the Niners offense, defense, play calling, like what their concepts are trying to do, so they can get that to the defensive coordinator, so you guys don't lose again to us in the playoffs. If that happens, do you think it's worth having him on your team for that? If it gives you an advantage against the Niners potentially,
I don't think it gives an advantage like that at all.
Really? Okay.
No.
See, I always think about things like that. It's like, hey, we can get their quarterback. He can tell us all their plays, and then as soon as he gives up all that info, they're going to cut him, and Will Greer is going to be your QB2. That's how you play football. That's
just lost because unlucky happenstance, man. That's not.
That's how you do it. For anything, sure.
So. And man, Jeezy's talking about it. Dak is entering the 10 years sneakily one of the few senior quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, I remember when he was the young pup. So it's crazy. We're all getting older here. All getting older. Warren was in here getting back to his chat from a little while ago. He said he made a trade today in Dynasty. Want to make sure I won. Hyatt and a 25 third for Calvin Ridley. Yeah, if you're trying to compete now, absolutely. That's well worth it.
Yeah.
In my opinion. No brainer. Smash accept on that. For sure. Yeah. Absolutely. Well done. What round do you go ahead.
Significantly more single digit season starters in the league than double digit year starters. So that's true. Yeah, there's a lot of new guys out there. A lot of new
having
faces,
a little turnover.
And shoot, for fantasy is kind of good sometimes. You want that turnover. You want to see who's the next up and coming people. It's always exciting. Obviously, people get tired of. I mean, finally Brady's out of the league. Shoot, that only took 20 years. You know what I mean? Or whatever.
That doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah, I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Like it was a staple for how long? Like it's ridiculousness at this point. Come on.
For sure. And I'm get to Warren here. He said, "What round are you taking Dalvin Cook?" Round is hard for me, but if I was going to take him, he'd have to be at least like my RB3, maybe RB4. So that's what, anywhere between 6 and 8.
I'd say 7, 8.
7, 8. Yeah. He went 7. He went 7-11 as the RB3 in our mock on Friday on the semifinal round. So just to kind of give you an idea, and RB3 round 7. So we might be getting to that team in a little bit. So there we go. All right. Are we caught up in the chats here?
Yeah, we're all caught up.
All right. Perfect. So let's move on. Let's keep the show on the road. Let's get to it. While a lot of the people were here, we're probably going to lose all our viewers after we announce this, but hopefully you guys will stick with us for our risers and fallers. But we won't make you wait too much longer. Let's get those.
I thought 6 announcements was after the risers and fallers.
Nah, I put it before. See how we got one more tab right after it. I rounded it up. I was going off of the
It's all good,
banners.
it's all good, it's all
Yeah,
good.
well, follow the banners. Follow the
All right.
banners. So let's get to it, man. So we got our top three we're gonna announce here. Again, these top three are from our mock draft tournament of champions, semifinal round 4. These three people we're gonna announce here will be moving on to the Friday finale on September 1st, right here on Get Right Fantasy Network. They will have an opportunity to compete for the $50 cash prize and maybe some other swag that'll come along with it. Maybe a shirt or sweatshirt or something like that. We'll figure it out.
So the board up?
Oh yeah, good call. Good call. See, that's why I like having you here, Frank.
Yeah, that's what we're working together.
Oh, perfect. We got it. I'll even do you one better. So let's bring it up here. Hopefully you can see it a little better. If you guys are having trouble seeing it on your screen, go into the description. I have the link to the draft board there. You can actually pull it up on your phone. If you have that YouTube Premium, you can listen and go into your other app at the same time. I highly suggest you getting it. They don't even pay me to say that. I just I've saved so much time in my life by not even watching the 5 seconds worth of ads. And it helps out, your fellow folks like us when you have that premium account and you come watch us. So there you go, man. So let's get to these top three.
You convinced me to do it.
Oh, did you do it ever since we talked about it? Oh yeah. Isn't it the best? Like it literally is I don't know why I went so long without doing it. I can't even stand
streamline
ads.
a lot of things. Instead of waiting for that ad and then clicking on it, or like if you fast forward, then the other ad comes up, and then this and that. Now some shows have 2 ads, and now you're avoiding all that drama. I use YouTube for a lot of catch up. I can't watch every game, but I watch the highlights. I don't got time to wait for skip this ad and then watch. I don't got time for that. Like
exactly. See, and they don't even pay us to tell you guys this. Just do it. It'll be better. It'll be better just for your life in general. You could spend more time hanging out and mocking with us with all that time you're not on your ad there. So there you go. See, that's how we spin it. You can spend more time on Underdog Fantasy using that promo code Get Right. All right. So let's get to our number 3 team here. Finishing here, number 3. Let's see. This guy, I think, also made. I think he was in almost 3 out of the 4 semifinal rounds, and finally made it here. One of my favorite names out here. This guy was one of our first people that mocked with us on our Friday night mocks when we first started our first year. His name at the time was Lord of Fantasy, but because of the way Sleeper works here, you're unable to see the entire name, so it just came up as Lord of Fanta. So we started calling him that, and he ended up just completely changing his name to Lord of Fanta, updated his avatar. I think it's the most awesome thing he did for us, man, and absolutely stood out from the crowd by doing that. So again, congratulations, Lord of Fanta, for coming in 3rd here. You are going to get an invite to the Friday finale for your chance to compete for that $50 cash prize here in our mock draft tournament of champions. And we have a Kelsey build that makes it to the finale.
Rare Kelsey build.
The only other person that made it to the finale with a Kelsey build was Tim over at the Fantasy Frontline. So,
really?
Yeah. So he did it right, man.
I actually like this one. So that's why I was like, oh, yeah, he made it. Oh, that's good.
Absolutely. So there we are, man. And let's see. We'll give the breakdown. He made it by getting. Oh, you said you liked it and everything, but you didn't rank him that way. You didn't even make your top 6. Well, you could still like it, but doesn't mean you made your top 6. But he was second place for both Dustin and myself, which is very rare that Dustin and I kind of agree on a build. Yeah, that's actually, we're usually completely opposite. But yeah, so Lord of Fanta comes in here with Kelsey at the 106, goes, kind of like a modified 0 RB. So he grabs his tight end and then 3 consecutive wide receivers, Olave, Higgins, and DeAndre Hopkins. Grabs Miles Sanders as his RB1. Grabs Dak Prescott here as his QB1. A little early. We were kind of talking about it on Friday. We thought he probably could have completely done without Dak and just grabbed another position player there and, went with Tua in a 1 QB league. But hey, he grabbed Dak here. Goes Alvin Kamara, who has that 3-game suspension, but then grabs Khalil Herbert, who should fill in fine for him while he's gone. Grabs Elijah Mitchell, one of my favorite handcuffs this year. Then he goes Adam Thielen as his wide receiver 4. Grabs Tua, like we mentioned here in the 11th. Goes Jalen Hyatt, little lotto ticket here in the 12th. Tajay Spears, another lotto ticket behind Henry there in the 13th. also looked really good this preseason. And then, of course, Tank Dell. I don't want to say of course, but, Tank Dell, one of the preseason darlings here. That week one making a great catch. Yeah, I don't know if he finished too strong, but definitely a nice prospect to have. Again, a lot of ticket in the last round. That's what we're looking for in these builds. So congratulations, Fanta. Third place consensus ranked team by finishing second on both mine and Dustin's list. So tough to do with the Kelsey build. But, again, you could talk about to Mike and Frank about it, but why they didn't have you on the top 6, but he got in there regardless. So There you go. Congratulations. Check your DMs. We'll be sending out the invites and the link tomorrow so you can jump in for this Friday's tournament, our mock tournament of champions. All right. So that was number 3. Smokey the Cat.
We're going to
What's
mention
up, bro?
His stuff that's coming up here after we're done with this.
Oh, snap. I didn't even see 16 comments we're behind on. All right. You guys light it up in there. We'll get to it.
GZ got a good one, though. Speaking of Brady, because I don't want to go back too far back. And I also just want to stop the flow. But in our NFL year 1 AB after Brady, which is hella funny because there's
That's hilarious
that have said that. And I mentioned the 20-year stint that he had with us. Anyways.
Right. That's great. This is the first time I'm hearing that. So that's great.
No,
I'm going to start using that for sure.
Awesome, dude. Yes, it's the first
that's great.
After Brady. That's crazy.
That's great.
There's 7 weeks, 7 week 1 starters who have never started a game opposite of Tom Brady. Can y'all name them?
Well, definitely the rookies, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young. So that's 2. Yeah. Did Trevor Lawrence face him?
I don't think so.
I don't know. Anthony Richardson. So that's at least 3. Maybe that. So those are your rookie quarterbacks starting.
Who's in Houston?
That's CJ Stroud. We already got him.
Yeah.
I only know the rookies for sure. But who are Jordan Love. I don't think Jordan Love started against Brady. So that's what, 4?
4 at least. 3 more to go.
Whoever's starting in Arizona, that's 5. Whoever's going to be the starter in Arizona. So I think 5 out of 7 is not too bad. I'll have to keep checking with you on that one. You got any other guesses there?
No,
I want to say Trevor Lawrence is my other guess for 6.
Yeah, the ones I was going to go with right there.
And has Geno faced him? Did Geno face him last year?
Geno's been a lot of teams. He's been around the league.
But he hasn't started against them because he just barely started now. So I'll say Geno and Trevor as my 2 unknowns guesses. And that's just off the top of the head. Oh, yeah, Desmond Ritter. So there we go. I think there might be more than 7, dude. We might have more than 7. No, I think he played him last year. I think he played him last year. Because he's been in the league 2 years now.
Yeah, he's been in the league for a while.
So that's interesting. That's a good one. I like those little trivia questions. Keep them coming. Let us know what
give us the answers
are.
give us the answers. Yeah. Now that we went over it,
I want to know how many I got. Yeah, I want to know how many I got now. All right, so let's get back to it.
The list of starters right now. I don't see anybody else that stands out.
There you go.
There. So yeah, let's move on.
All right, so we'll move on. Good stuff, Jeezy. Keep contributing, man. We got to get him on the show here soon too.
We'll come back to the rest of you guys from that point on, right there.
Yeah, we'll get back to the chat. Just drop it in the chat, and we'll get to it. Any questions or anything you guys have there? All right, so going back to our number 2 ranked team here. This is a guy I kind of mentioned a little bit earlier. Drafted here out of the 11 spot, Mr. Cherry Poppins. Ranked number 2 consensus between all of us. Congratulations, you're getting your invite to the Friday finale, September 1st. So come out and join us. The team that got him there was CeeDee Lamb, Nick Chubb, Keenan Allen, Aaron Jones, Trevor Lawrence, Tyler Lockett, Dalvin Cook, James Cook, OBJ, Tyler Boyd, Kmet, Nico Collins, Deuce Vaughn, and Chase Brown. So I only can probably disagree with maybe 2 of the picks here. If that, Beckham. Just Beckham's not one of my guys. Everybody else, I mean, I love Nico. I think I just drafted him in our Got Left Out league, and to go with CJ Stroud, who I drafted as my quarterback 3 in a super flex, and got the little sack there with Collins. And I kind of cooled down a little bit on Chase Brown, but there's still a chance, depending on how the legal things shake out with Mixon, that he could get some time but they're also saying Chris Evans, it looks like he's the number 2 there. So I kind of cooled off on him a little bit. And then I don't quite like that he has, Boyd and Brown from Cincinnati on there. But other than that, every one of those picks where he got them, I just think it was a nice, well-balanced, put together team.
Yeah, I'd agree with you with the Odell pick. I didn't really care for that, but I did like the rest of the build.
Yeah.
And
so
he's been
there you
doing
go.
some good drafting. I think this is the 4th one that I've seen him in.
He's definitely been in a couple mocks, and I think he's made one other semifinal, possibly. So, yeah. So congratulations, Sherry Poppins, man. Keep your eye on your DMs. We'll be sending you out that invite. If for some reason you can't make it, we'll go to one of the alternates. But I'm sure if you made it with us this far, you're going to be ready to go on Friday. So we'll see you there,
and you
man.
can't go with somebody who's got a cool team name and cool logo, even like little.
Yeah, on Friday I had to be a little careful when I was saying that, but I just went for it today. That's all right. We clicked the not for kids button here, so it's all good.
Yeah, we're not. That's for sure.
Yeah, we try to be okay, but every once in a while we'll throw something out just in case. So
we used to have the F count. Remember the F count?
Yeah, our F word count. Dim Boys had his notebook going. So so there you go, man. All right, so congratulations again, Cherry Poppins, man. We'll see you on Friday. And now let's get to our number 1 ranked team this week. A guy that's been in here. Yeah, drum roll. He's been in these mocks, man, every week. I think he was trying to get in every draft. I think he made it on the last week. The last qualifier after doing it Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Finally got his invite on Thursday, I believe. Actually, I can tell you right now. No, he got it Wednesday. So he went Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, finally got in on Wednesday. Didn't have to draft on Friday. Been with us every week. New to the channel. In our Got Left Out Listener League, Mr. Uno Goss coming in here as the number 1 ranked team. And he was drafting here out of the 8th spot. He goes Cooper Kupp, which is great value at the 108. Derrick Henry, DK Metcalf, Damian Pierce, Christian Watson, Cam Akers, Evan Ingram, Brandon Cooks, Anthony Richardson, Jerick McKinnon, Geno Smith, Chiga Okonkwo, Jalen Reed, and Jerome Ford. Super solid team. I barely don't have any question marks on this. This was personally my number 1 ranked team. It was Mike's number 1 ranked team and your 4th place team. And just to show you guys, it didn't even make Dustin's top 6. So, it's just how the consensus works. I think how we get these results actually makes it, great, because not one of us has too big of an influence on the standings. Yeah. You really have to hit really high with like 2 of us or be kind of right in the middle with all of us. And those are the guys who are typically winning. They either get, 3rd or 4th on all 4 of our scorecards, or they get like 1st or 2nd on 1, 2, or even 3 of our scorecards. And that's kind of the best way to get in. So congratulations, Uno Goss, man. Number 1 ranked consensus team this week. You will be getting your invite to Friday's finale mock draft, Tournament of Champions. The best of the best will battle it out for that $50 cash prize, man. Mock draft tournament, man. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun for us to do this, man. A lot of work, but to me, it was definitely worth it. Being able to do this. Yeah, it's tough, but I love doing it, man. I love the interactions. I love the little community we've kind of built here. A lot of support from the other, channels that have come out and participated with us and help promote and get, some of their viewers into our mocks to check us out here. And I hope it was just something you guys could look forward to at, 6 p.m. or 9 p.m. Every day, or one of your days that week, knowing you were going to get in that awesome mock with our folks here. And hopefully it was nice and competitive. And, even if you didn't make our top 6, or, trying to figure out the, what is it, the Konami code or whatever they call it, trying to figure out, how to make it, on our top 6 or make those top 3. A lot of it just had to do with the randomized draft positions and who you're drafting with and what players they're going at. So again, I just hope it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun for us here. Again, nothing was personal with it.
Only makes everybody better too, because you're drafting with guys who actually are trying to draft for a purpose.
Full degenerates.
Purpose, yeah. And I got in a couple mock drafts, and I mean, half of them are being auto-picked and this and that, and you don't get any benefit out of that, I don't think. Not to me, at least. You know, I mean, there's some of it that you could see where players are following and whatnot, but I would rather draft where people are into it and they're involved and they're, you know, really looking at the team that they're building versus an auto draft. Because then you're going to get a real life experience to go into your real draft of whatever league you're playing in to be better prepared and ready to kill it. You know, I'm sure that I know I feel more confident when I go into my home leagues and I'm ready, and I feel confident just looking over your guys' leagues.
Because your home leagues includes me, so you can't feel too confident.
It's just crazy nowadays that we do the show. I mean, it was already bad enough that we talk about our team and league and everything else for 24/7 before the show. Now we have this platform that we get to talk about it, but it's still like it's a lot of work. We're competitive, obviously. We're in here for the win. I mean, we want the championship belt, and I hope that you guys have a belt there in your guys' leagues or something that you're shooting for. If it's not just money, it's just the bragging rights. But hopefully, it's a competitive league that you're going in.
Absolutely, and if you want to get in competitive leagues, man, make sure you come join our community. We have guys looking, to fill spots, orphan leagues. I jumped in one of my first auction leagues this weekend. An invite through someone I met here in the Get Right community. Shout out to Eeps, Evan Epstein. You've seen him in here in the chats a couple weeks back. Bringing that fire. So it was fun drafting with him and the group of guys over there. So again, it's just awesome community, man. I think I'm in like 16 leagues now after just being in 2 when we first started this channel. So it's, 16 managed leagues on top of probably 40 or 50 best ball leagues that I'm at now on Underdog. So it's just, full degeneracy going on over here, man. And it's a lot of fun. So we hope you guys are enjoying it, man. Little community we're building here. Couldn't do without you guys.
Different leagues. Guillotine League that you were mentioning last year. I need to make sure.
Oh yeah.
One of those. Or Zombie League or Vampire League. What do you call the other one?
All of them. All the above.
Yeah, right.
Everything you just mentioned. Yeah. And I used to be like, oh, this is the certain way to play, or these are the perfect settings. But more so now, I love trying to figure out and adjusting and adapting to different leagues, different settings, whatever the scoring is, being able to apply what you know about players to be able to then, draft and compete in that league with that proper scoring. So I've changed from get off my lawn to bring it on, whatever you got. I'm going to figure it out, adapt, and beat you at your own game. So,
I get off my lawn. I like a certain way.
We know that, Frank. We know that.
I like it.
Exactly. And that's
the cat coming over.
Yeah, let's get back to the chats, man.
They say, "What's up, guys? We're back. Jacobs in London for Chase, 12-team PPR."
I'll take the Chase side all day. And yeah, we are back, Smokey the Cat. So glad to see you, man, returning again. Love when people are coming back a new year. But I'm Chase for sure. Which side are you taking on this one?
Now that Jacobs signed, I'll take the Jacobs and London side.
Ooh, there you go. So we're split. Someone in the chat, help us split this. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
You on the Chase side, or you on Jacobs or London?
Yeah. Throw it up on there. Let's see what. I think now that he signed, if he hadn't signed yet, I'd be definitely on the Chase side. But now that he signed, I'm leaning. Jacobs is a workhorse, or they might run him into the ground, as we mentioned. So
yeah,
if they do that,
I'll take Jamar Chase all day. I'll take Jamar Chase all day. So his team is Burrow.
2 for 1 anyway. So
usually you take the one side guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Bijan Gibbs, CeeDee Lamb, DJ Moore, Pat Fryermuth, Josh Jacobs, and his bench is London, Dotson, Hollywood, P. Ryan, Dobbs, and Kincaid. I would try to swap out Hollywood Brown for London if you are going to do the trade. I would give up. I would see if I can give up Hollywood instead. But if Jacobs and London gets you Chase, then do it all day.
Do it.
That's in my opinion. Frank says stick with London and Jacobs.
I keep Jacobs.
Yeah. So.
But London's on his bench.
Let's see.
Burrow, Bijan, CD, DJ. Yeah, trade him. Look at that. He's just a bench guy, anyways.
Yeah. So for me, I'm trying to look in here and see if anyone's answered it. So yeah, Dan's saying Chase easy. So Dan's with me. And y'all take questions? Absolutely. So we were just kind of getting through our announcements that we had to do, but on our live streams here, that's what we love to do most, man.
Yeah.
We'll throw away our whole show sheet if y'all bring fire with the questions.
whatever's coming up.
Whatever's up, man. So we do like a 3.5 hour show on Friday nights, man. When we do start sit, we'll take questions until people go to bed. Mike and I will be here. Literally, he's on the East Coast. He'll be up till like 3 a.m. sometimes. We start at 8 p.m. Pacific. So we'll take questions all day, man. That's what we're here for. And more importantly, make sure you get in that description. If you haven't already, of course, if you guys are watching, hit that subscribe button for us. And if you're already subscribed, hit that like button. But yeah, man, get in our Sleeper private community. We have a thread there. We do injury updates throughout the season to get that information even before Sleeper. And then on top of that, you can put a post, rate my team, send it to me, direct message, Twitter, Sleeper, whatever it is. I literally talk shop 24/7. I know I'll get off this, and I have DMs from people asking, especially right now, everyone's doing their drafts, dude. My DMs are blowing up. Rasta, check out my team. How'd I do? So I love it, man. This is why we started the channel. This is why I started it. I love being up in everybody's business and seeing it. So keep them coming.
Ronald also agree with you because they were chatting in the chat here. He said,
yeah.
PPR, I'd probably do it because Jacobs and London aren't nothing.
Nice.
And they was just asking who he's going to drop as a sweetener, because obviously the other team
you're gonna have an open roster spot,
2 for the 1 or whatever. What's going on? Who are they dropping? I wouldn't care. If they're dropping,
go grab Justin Ross.
They're worth being dropped. Yeah, they're worth being dropped. Period.
Get Chase and Justin Ross. Go grab him. 6'4", 210, attached to Patrick Mahomes. He'll beat out MVS eventually if he could stay healthy. Go get him. We'll get into that.
It was later.
All right. So Jeezy, yeah. So this was the quarterbacks that are starting.
Okay,
AB.
This is the answer.
Yeah. So these are the answers. So Lawrence, which we were right on. Tua. I didn't know Tua didn't face him. Oh, that's because Tua came in and he went to Tampa Bay, so they didn't play in that division anymore. Stroud, Young, Richardson, Howell, Love. Oh, Howell. Okay. So I didn't get Tua and Howell. But he also said, he said, LOL. He said, yeah, I guess it's 8 now because Lawrence, Tua, Stroud, Richardson, Howell, Love, and whoever will be starting in Arizona before Murray comes back. So there you go. At least I got one that you didn't get. So there you go. Got you on your own question. Yeah. So there you go. You asked an invalid question, so I'm taking the win on that one. I named 7 out of the 8.
Dan coming in. Thoughts on Damian Pierce and JK as running backs: Fade, Waddle, Olave, Ridley, Amari, wide receivers, Herbert and Watson, QB, Superflex League.
I'm not sure what he means by that. So thoughts on Damian Pierce and JK as an RB fade. I just don't understand why he's putting the rest of the guys in there. I personally like Pierce and JK. Like, I'm not crazy about Pierce. I have him as I mentioned my auction draft I did. I got him for $16 in a Superflex league as my RB3 behind Eckler and Henry. So I definitely like him, and I have Kamara sitting on the bench as well too. Not a bad running back room, huh? Henry, Eckler, Kamara, and Damian Pierce. So that's what I came out with. So I'm definitely on board with Pierce. I like him again more as like an RB2, RB3. And J.K. Dobbins, I think, can definitely, when he's healthy and he's hitting on all cylinders, and I think this offense will be great. I mean, his efficiency numbers are great. He just hasn't been able to really stay on the field. To me, it's just, but when he's out there, man, he kills it. Even when he wasn't like fully back, like I think he averaged like 5.7 yards a carry last year in the games, that he was still in. So, I mean, I don't mind them, especially if that's your receiving core. Like, I mean, I'm fine with Pierce and JK as my RBs. I don't know if that's exactly what you mean or what you were looking for. If you want to clarify a little bit, if we didn't answer that properly, let us know. We'll definitely come back to it. But yeah, I have personally no problem with them. What about you, Frank?
I like it. If he's a super flex, I'm imagining his draft now, and he must have went, with the wide receivers and the quarterback first, and then ended up with Pierce and J.K. Dobbins later on. So he's wondering if he
probably went Herbert, Olave, Watson. So he probably drafted like 8, 9, 10 spot. Grabbed Herbert, Olave on the turn. I don't know how he got Waddle as well. Waddle must have fell. So maybe he was closer to like 7 or 8. Maybe 5, 6, or 7.
Olave, no?
Yeah, I think he's 5, 6, or 7. So he probably went Herbert at 6. I think he had pick 6. Let us know what pick you had, man. I think he had pick 6. Went Herbert, grabbed Olave, came back around, grabbed Waddle or Ridley, but I don't think Waddle would go before Ridley. Then came back and got Ridley. And then maybe grabbed JK. Yeah, then Amari. I think he went all receivers first, and then grabbed
And then
J.K. Pierce, and then Pierce after that. I think he might have picked one of those running backs in between one of these receivers, possibly.
somewhere sliding.
And then to still get Watson as your QB2.
Yeah, Watson had to be late.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, let us know how you got that team together. That's a nice team. So, well done. All right, so yeah, hopefully we answered that right. If not, just roll back the question. We'll get to it for sure. Who else? Up, down, left, right, A, B, start. There you go. Got to get the code in there for sure. Oh, that's what the Konami code. That's what that comes from. It's the up, down, left, right, up, down, start. There we go.
It's select start.
Yeah, select start. A, B, select start. Yeah, there you go. We all know that one, right?
Yeah.
You remember the blood code for Mortal Kombat? Anybody know the blood code for Mortal Kombat still? Drop that in the chat.
I don't remember that.
Oh, that was a good one. I know
I used to do the Street Fighter one for Nintendo to get you could fight the same guys.
Super Nintendo. I had Game Genie, man. It was all about Game Genie.
Yeah.
That was literally the cheat code. Yeah, that was awesome. That's for sure. So Smokey Cat said he'll be here for sure. It's that time of the year again. So glad to have you back, man. Absolutely. We've been on for a while, still being total degenerates, but we're glad you came back.
Welcome back.
Oh, it was an auction draft. That's how he got it. Oh, okay. I was wondering, like, once I seen that, I was like, I don't know how he did that after we got in there. So he got Damien for 8, JK for 9.
Yeah.
Okay. Was it if it was $100, that sounds about right, because I got Pierce for 16 and a $200 budget Superflex. If you got him for only 8, that's great. And 9, yeah, that's for sure good for $8 and $9, especially if it's 200. So well done. So yeah, so I think we're finally caught up.
Should be worth being dropped. We just drafted. Well, there's always a guy.
Yeah, I've seen that. Like as soon as we draft, then people like drop in, and like that's how you know they messed up in their draft.
Yeah. There's
They're like, oh, I should have grabbed this guy instead. Yeah. So I don't do that. I at least got to ride it out through week 1 and see how stuff shakes out.
Because there's always a guy. I mean,
unless someone gets hurt. But yeah, if nobody got, and I'm not drafting hurt guys anyway. But some people, might throw someone in an IR spot, but no one's really in IR now anyway. So anyway, all right. So let's get through these risers and fallers. We'll kick ban and we'll get out of here. We're hitting the 1 hour mark right now. Anyway, so risers and fallers, man. I don't have too many this week, just because like we were saying, not too many. There were some starters that played a good amount of time, and then others that didn't, and some people didn't play at all this preseason. So it's kind of hard to tell. A lot of the guys we've mentioned on the previous episodes. So just make sure you kind of go back and watch those. But as far as just kind of, I kind of took it as kind of just overall, kind of all preseason, like where we are now after the 3rd preseason, as well as maybe some, guys that we saw this weekend. But I'll start with Jordan Love, man. He came out and impressed to me again, 9 for 16, 63 yards and a touchdown that actually went to Christian Watson this time. So that was good to see. So we've seen Watson, Dobbs, and Jalen Reed score, this season. Just the command of his, the command that he's had of this offense. He doesn't look like a rookie. Like he doesn't look like, Bryce. He doesn't look like CJ Stroud has looked at times, where they've kind of flashed here and there. But you can tell they still have some work to do. To me, Jordan Love, is coming in and looking a lot more decent, than I thought he was going to be. So honestly, guys like Jalen Reed, Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs, who Reed and Dobbs, you can still get great value on. And I think, Christian Watson
Dobbs.
Has been, and I
just way down there, and he's got to be a riser. You're getting great value out of him, especially for leagues.
For sure. And so, so I think if you want to kind of miss out on Watson, if that's a little too high for you there, you can easily go ahead and, plan on targeting Dobbs later. I'm not, shying away from this offense. I kind of like AJ Dillon now as well too. Well, I mean, I've always kind of liked him, of course, and you guys saw the intro. Of course, we love AJ Dillon here. For whatever reason, Classic Mike is still against the Green Bay Packers. He's not feeling them. But I don't know how you can worry about them, compared to, based on what they've shown, in the preseason.
They're going to be fine. They're going to be just fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think there'll be a decent team. They're not going to be like the Chiefs or anything crazy.
No.
But I think they'll definitely hold their own. I think they have, the potential to be scoring, 16 to, 25 points a week. I know those numbers don't quite add up in football terms, but as far as averages go, I think they'll be in that, 15 to 25 point range weekly, which means, good fantasy points for your your fantasy team.
Middle of the run team, doing all right.
Absolutely. So who else? I'll turn over to you. You got any quarterbacks on your risers list there that you want to mention?
The quarterback that I mentioned earlier was Will Grier. Not that he was a riser or anything that he's going to take over Dak's spot, just because he had to throw on a good show in order to fend off, Trey Lance there. But I did want to, take a moment to run off my running backs and say, we were talking to Najee Harris, 4 for 18 and 1 touchdown, and Jalen Warren, 2 for 14 and 1 touchdown. So, the battle over there in Pittsburgh still looming. I think a lot of people are fading Najee this year, just not efficient enough, and Jalen Warren just has a lot more. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely looking to get Jalen Warren late. I think he's a great value. He's really low in drafts. Looking to pick him up. I also wanted to mention Joshua Kelly, 2 for 78 and a touchdown. He's a good handcuff to Eckler. You definitely want to bring him up because I know that people aren't probably even drafting him. And he's one of those guys that I know after week 1 or week 2, and you start seeing him and just getting a couple touches, or just, you want to, handcuff the guys that you do have. You end up with Eckler. You do want to pick up Joshua Kelly because he's probably going to be the guy that's going to be handcuffing. And lastly, for running backs, I just want to bring up Deion Jackson, 448, a touchdown. Him and Zach Moss would be the ones replacing JT over there. And which one do you think is going to get the job?
If you're asking me personally, I think JT stays in Indy.
They're like one day away, right? We're like tonight.
Yeah.
That's it. Like,
I mean, that's where I've been kind of this whole time. And I don't know if this is a hot take or what, but if you guys go back and watch all our shows, I've never really been the biggest JT fan. I mean, I like him as a player, individual person, nothing personal, but as far as fantasy goes, like, I understand he doesn't have any competing places, but even his RB1 finish, the only reason he finished RB1 is because CMC, Henry, and like 4 other people got hurt. He was just like default RB1. He had literally that year people were like dropping him he was one of the most traded until he went on that run towards the end. I remember in our home league, I could almost traded for him instead of Pizzo. And I was like, nah, I'd rather keep who I had because I'm not trying to get JT. And then he goes on a miraculous run to kind of end the season and end up as, RB1 overall. But I've just never quite been a fan. Line's not as great as it used to be. No real weapons on the outside besides, Pittman again. And I'm talking years past, now they got Pittman, they got Josh Downs. So I mean, Alec Pierce, still nothing, crazy. I've moved off on Pittman, as you guys know. I'm kind of just fading this entire offense, until I see, some, progress,
He doesn't believe in Anthony Richardson.
I mean, I believe in his rushing ability. I just, I prefer to go after, other guys. Like, I'll take Tua instead of Anthony Richardson. He has Tyree. I mean, quarterback position to me, I always think about passing, not rushing. Small mindset. And also because I play a lot of 6-point per passing leagues versus 4-point. So I think that's also why these running quarterbacks aren't necessarily as high on my, mental list. Because I literally don't think I have any 4-point passing leagues except for this auction draft that I just got in. Just this last Sunday. So that's the only 4-point, passing touchdown league that I got. And I even kind of messed up because I got Goff and Geno, completely forgetting that, I should have spent maybe a little more on an AR or something like that. I just wasn't feeling it. So, but yeah, again, it really depends on, 4-point or 6-point for me. But again, back to JT, that's my thoughts on that. So sorry for the tangent. So yeah. Let's go to wide receivers.
No. Lastly,
you got one more running back.
A faller in Khalil Herbert. I don't know. We were high on him, but he only took 2 carries for a loss of 1 yard.
Oh yeah, because they got to get him off the field.
I know they had to get him off the field, but I think it just opens up for Deontay Foreman because he was looking all right till he's
hurt.
He went to the injury tent as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's hurt now.
You know what I mean? Like,
Roshan Johnson is the name to know in that backfield. He's the best. He's the best pass blocker.
Khalil Herbert is falling. Is a little bit what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm not. I was never too. I don't I think
I'm too
Roshan
invested
or
in Khalil Herbert
Foreman.
to say anything bad.
Yeah, that's why he doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't want to hear the bad news.
I don't even want to hear it. That's why I try
Yeah.
to interrupt you and move you on from
Yeah,
that.
like, no,
Don't even
no,
put that out in the ether.
Don't put that out there.
Yeah, don't even put that out there, man. Like we don't need any of that. Khalil Herbert to the moon. So yeah, so no, but good one. Yeah, his questions, of course, and the reason why he's not going higher, because again, Roshan Johnson, he's based on what you hear in the beat reporters, and we did have Adam Rank, and we did get to talk to him before and after the show, and ask him about his Bears, and he said, Roshan Johnson,
Not
is
Bears.
kind of the best.
Go ahead. Sorry, we'll just say
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Bears. He's Roshan's kind of the best pass blocker out of the group. One of the better pass catchers, but we did see, Khalil Herbert did take that screen to the house in the first preseason game. But he did kind of bobble the catch, and it wasn't a great throw from Justin Fields either. So, you can kind of read into that how you will. But, again, since we had Adam Rank on the show, make sure you guys go back and check out that show. It was awesome. Again, make sure you subscribe to Get Right Fantasy.
The rankings are
it's on the website as well.
We don't mention that much anymore, but it's time to mention the website because I've been updating a little bit. We need, hey, by the way, what is your spiel all the time? If you want to help out and be part of the Fantasy Network here, if you want to be a writer, get on the show, do some things. We're always looking for new talent, some new help. We don't get paid. This is just for, just our degeneracy, here that we love this sports so much. So, hey, if you want to contribute one way or another, let us know.
Absolutely. See, get that promo read in there, Frank. You're stepping up. You're hired. You're hired. Now it's not on me anymore. All right, so good stuff. So let's move on to the the only other quarterback, just kind of backing up, you jumped into running backs before I was ready for you too. I just wanted to mention honorable mention with Baker Mayfield going 6 for 6, 43 yards and a touchdown. Shout out to GZ if he's still watching. Chris Godwin with the touchdown there. Mike Evans, they say he's going to be good to go week 1. Haven't seen him in the preseason. But I think that connection with Godwin's going to be good. Baker likes his slot guy. Jarvis Landry had good years under Baker, if you guys remember back in Cleveland. So I think that's, if you are going to grab someone, that's the guy to grab in that offense, Godwin. And, it pushes Baker up. I don't mind taking him in my super flex as a QB3 if you're going to wait and literally get him as the last QB off the board before, technically 31. Because the Arizona starting quarterback, whoever that's going to be, is usually going undrafted, even in a super flex league. So, honorable mention, shout out to Baker for our boy Jeezy over there. All right, so let's move on to wide receivers. My guy, I mentioned him earlier, Justin Ross, man, had a nice goal line fade route, only 2 catches for 12 yards and a touchdown. It looked like they're designing plays for him to kind of see what he has. He's 6'4", 210. Nice target for Mahomes. I think he has a chance if he can stay healthy. We saw what he did in Clemson before he had the, big time neck injury to where he was thought to maybe not even be able to play football again. So for him to come back, and show out, it still looks like he still has some growing to do. But somebody that I'm definitely drafting, second to last round to have on my roster. He's attached to Mahomes, a high scoring offense, and has an opportunity to, work his way into that starting lineup. Of course, I still love Rashee Rice as well, too. And I think they're the wide receivers, of the future. I think it's more Rice and Ross. Could be a nice trio there with Kelsey, and this team could be very dangerous if you put some, over 6 foot receivers there, because they're the receivers. Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore are both under 6 feet. So if you can have these guys on the outside, at least one of them, Rice or Ross, or preferably both, again, their offense is just going to be potent again, and it's going to be the steal of the draft for them getting Justin Ross as late as they did. So, and again, he missed all last year with an unrelated injury that he had in college with the neck. I think it was some kind of foot or something issue with his leg last year when he went on IR and missed the whole year, but looks like he's back with a vengeance and something to prove this year. So he's one of those guys where I'm trying to leave him in every draft that I'm in. And I probably shouldn't have said that because I have a couple drafts winding down right now. And I've been seeing him going like in the 13th even now.
Trying to get you.
Especially with drafts with me. They're grabbing him early. So it's all right. I love it.
I'm not mentioning everybody.
Makes me step my game up. So
wide receiver that I wanted to mention, since we were talking wide receivers, Marvin Mims in Denver with the injury to Jerry Jeudy. It seems like he's going to be taking up a lot more touches and slots, and who knows how long Jerry Jeudy's going to be out. I know that's saying just a month. I think it could be longer. Jerry Jeudy seems to be always having that lingering injury, especially with the hammies now. I don't trust him. I never should trust him. So you might want to start looking at Marvin Mims or somebody else over there in Denver. And another wide receiver, Antoine Green at Detroit, 3 for 97 at a touchdown. He's a rookie. Did all right. Had a pretty decent game. So I don't know, somebody maybe just a look at late.
Yeah, especially we don't know how Jameis going to come back. Maybe he gets worked in, kind of like Reynolds and whoever else has been over there, kind of just getting targets from Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Opposite of Amon-Ra.
Yeah,
absolutely. Definitely. So we have Ali Boscod coming back here saying his phone died. My bad. Did you guys tell your thoughts on JK and Judy? We did talk about JK already. My boy here just talked about Judy. So hopefully you hit that. But I'll tell you just real quick my thoughts. Just to recap it, J.K. Dobbins, I'm all in for. I love him as an RB2. I think he's a okay RB1 if you have to settle. If you go a hero RB or maybe a tight end, a Kelsey build, or not hero, but zero RB or a Kelsey build in a 3 wide receiver league, I don't mind J.K. as my RB1 just to kind of try it out. So the chances you have to be willing to take if you go with one of those type of builds. And yeah, Judy, I have him on my Dynasty league, so I don't know if I can. In my top contending Dynasty league. So I don't know if I can be unbiased on this take, but, I don't think he's going to be back, until about week 4, with that moderate hamstring injury, grade 2, which technically is a tear. So it does have to heal if you come back too early, high risk of re-injury. So I just hope they keep him out the 4 weeks or so and just let that thing heal up. And because if not, he's going to be playing at a lower health percentage, and again higher chance for re-injury. So ideally, you'd like to see him stay out until about week 4, which means you probably won't be able to start him until about week 5 or 6. When it comes to drafting, that means you're drafting him as like your wide receiver 4, or maybe wide receiver 5, in a 3 wide receiver.
Some people are still taking him high though. Some people I've seen some drafts they were still going high, and I was like, eee.
I mean, there's a chance.
Like, are you serious? Like, you already know he's going to miss some games.
Yeah, there's a chance. He's still young, but yeah, those hamstrings are tough to deal with, man. Yeah. Especially a grade 2. So just we'll be keeping up with the news. Make sure you guys go follow Dr. Jesse Morse, the Fantasy Docs, on Twitter, and on YouTube. Great information, great videos, and they keep you all up to date on all these player injuries. So that's one of my biggest sources.
They could tell by the film and seeing how the player landed or what he did or what he reached for, and they're already knowing what's going on without looking at the X-rays or the MRIs or whatever.
Yeah. But they'll always tell you. Yeah, they'll always tell you, hey, we didn't see it, so it could be this through this. So it all just depends, how that goes. So yeah, so make sure you guys go check out Dr. Jesse Morse. Plus, I think he follows us on Twitter, and I was in the chat with him for our Scott Fishbowl for our twos chat. So I got to kind of chat with him there, and we've gone back and forth on a couple posts a couple times. So seems like a cool guy. I'd love to be able to get him on the show. I doubt it, but Wilson, maybe we can work on that.
So where's Wilson at?
Well, we'll see.
He said I drafted him and Cup both had hamstring problems. Cup will be fine.
Yeah, I think Cup's fine. He's back to practice. He should be good. But he was out a month, basically. August 1st is when he suffered that injury.
Cup out. They made sure to let him heal up. They didn't want to have no problems with Cup. So that's why I also drafted Cup. So don't feel crazy about that.
There you go. I don't really have anyone else here on Risers and Fallers. As far as anyone else really to promote.
Tight end. Albert.
Oh yeah, Jimmy. I got Jimmy Graham.
You got a tight end. I got an Albert Okwonga. Who cares? Albert O.
Albert O. There you go.
7 for 109 and a touchdown over in Denver. That's good numbers right there.
Watch out, Greg Dolchich. Yeah, he's playing against like 3rd and 4th stringers. I'm not reading too much into that.
But it's good to see, though. You know what I mean? It's good to see him get the touches. You still got to catch the ball. And still got to do something about it. Even if it is 3rd stringers, they're still better than college players. So
for sure. So let's see. So hopefully, Ali Boss, you got that. Let's see. I think we had another question here. Dylan, what's up, DCAS? He's saying, finally have my home league team. Let me know how I did. He went QB, Josh Allen, running backs, Pollard, Kamara, Herbert, Devon A-Chain, and Jerick McKinnon. Wide receivers, Tyreek, Higgins, Ayuk, Dotson, Sutton, Jamo, and Dobbs, and Elijah Moore. Tight ends is Hawkinson and Ferguson. I don't think it's bad at all. Pretty solid. Seems like a 10-team league based on some of these guys you're able to get here. Maybe 12. It probably went Tyreek, and then Pollard, and then Allen on the turn. So you have probably like pick 5, I would say, in a 12 team. Oh no, it is a 10 team. Damn, I'm good. 4 spot. Damn, I'm good.
Yeah, I was
so
10 team.
So there you go. So yeah, 10 team on that one. So I don't think it's bad. You want, high end guys there. Got Pollard. Maybe Kamara might have been a little bit of a reach, but like I mentioned earlier, ideally Herbert, you'll have at least in the beginning of the year. Hopefully he can hold you through 3 games until Kamara gets back. We all know Frank's a big Kamara guy here as well. Wide receiver core is fire as far as Hill, Higgins, Ayuk, and Dotson. Not that big on Sutton. I'm a big JMO fan, but not this year in redraft. We just talked about Dobbs and Elijah Moore. I'm fine with
not
too.
Big on Sutton, although we were just talking about the Jerry Judy injury.
I'm just not big on Russ, who I actually have here as one of my fades on my risers and fallers.
That's the whole problem with that team right there.
Still doesn't look good, man. He didn't even look great against he didn't even look great against backups, he's still barely, he should have torched the backups, but he barely did anything there. So there you go. So anyway, congratulations, DCAS. It should be a nice team. Let us know how you do with it. Got Dim Boys in the house saying he's kind of late, but he's here. We'll take it. Better late than never, as we say. Ronald, of course, welcomed him in, just like any other Eagles fan would. Dallas sucks. I think the N was just a little typo on there, but it was just Dallas sucks. Yeah.
There's no reason about that.
No, I had to put that up.
No.
Ron, I tried to leave Dallas sucks up there I was surprised it lasted that long. I tried to get him for a while. So just so you know, he was like, we're not having any of that. So where else were we here? You're saying, okay. So yeah, you appreciate it. Positional advantage with QB and tight end, because he did get Hawkinson and he got good wide receivers. So yeah. So good stuff there. Dim Boys, was saying, thanks for the standard greeting, Ron. Thoughts on Quentin Johnson? Love Quentin Johnson. He's behind Addison. He's behind. Oh my God, why am I drawing a blank? I have him ahead of Rice, but behind Addison. I'd still take Addison. Where I have him compared to JSN because of the injury, as far as rookie wide receivers go, I still think I would take JSN ahead of him, even with the wrist fracture. Missing a couple games, just because he does have Keenan and Mike Williams there in front of him. JSN has DK and Lockett as well, but it sounds like they're definitely working him in. QJ's preseason is and just camp altogether. He's been kind of off and on, struggling with drops here and there, which is expected, for a rookie. But again, if you think of he's one of those guys, kind of like an Amon-Ra, OBJ, Christian Watson from last year, where maybe that doesn't go quite right in the beginning, people drop him. If you can stash them and try to, get those rookies that pop towards the end of the year once they kind of understand how to be a pro and, understand offenses, defenses, film, and, understand what the offense is doing, and the coach is start drawing more stuff up for them. He has the body type, the build, and the quarterback and the offense to go with it. A lot of indoor games, a lot of West Coast games, good weather. He's definitely a guy, I target. I used to get Addison and QJ kind of back to back in like that 7th, 8th round. So, what do you think about QJ?
I like him. I know that Williams and Keenan have had some injuries here and things like that, and I think it opens him up for opportunities. And you have a good quarterback in Herbert. He's got a good shot at becoming somebody there, being in 3rd right now, but he could move up to 2nd or 1st depending on injuries or anything that happens throughout the season. It's a good pickup. Depending on where you get him, don't pay too much for him.
Right. Yeah, and he's usually going like 8th, 9th round. Yeah. Because of those things we mentioned, which I think is a good price. Yeah. Now here's a good question: Zay Flowers or QJ? Zay Flowers in Baltimore, kind of like the slot guy over there. Bateman, OBJ. So he kind of still has a path. Very similar path. They're just Zay Jones is that small slot. shifty type guy, whereas QJ is that like 6'3", 200-pound prototypical X receiver.
Yeah.
Which guy would you're on the clock. Your options are QJ
Zay
or
Flowers.
Zay Flowers. You're going Zay. I think I'm still going QJ, only because I'd rather get Bateman later. I'd rather have the combination of QJ later. And Bateman versus Flowers and whoever else you might be grabbing. So, and that's the only reason
it's tough with Lamar, but I think he's going to be passing a little bit more. I think he got a better wide receiving core this year than, and he might actually pass a little bit more than he has run.
For sure. Yeah, new offense. Greg Roman's gone. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's why I like him a bit more.
Yeah, Ron's agreeing. He says he'll take QJ over Jay. Brooks said he drafted him. He drafted QJ. So I think we're at least Ron and I are agreeing. Frank thinks you should have won Zay. So there we go. At least we're not wrong
with the guy. We're not all. I'm not. I mean,
they're still dart throws. Either way, they're lotto tickets.
That's what. Thank you. That's what I was trying to get at.
It's a scratcher.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's a scratcher. You might win a ticket. You might hit it big. You never know.
Yeah.
It might just be nothing. You throw it away. It's all good. So I think that ends it. We're all caught up in the chat here. So we'll call this stream to a close. A lot of fun again. Congratulations to our finalists: Uno Goss number 1, Cherry Poppins number 2, Lord of Fanta number 3, Brocal number 4, Mason number 5, and Jay Baloney number 6. So again, the top 3: Uno Goss, Cherry Poppins, and Lord of Fanta. We'll see you guys on Friday for the Friday night Mock of Champions. We're also going to have a special guest, I believe, on Friday. If Dim Boys is still watching, we're going to have Dim Boys Jr., possibly Dim Boys Senior, both of them joining Mike and I on Friday as we're doing the mock. And then we'll recap our listener league from last year and, talk about Dim Boys Jr. since he's the reigning champ there. We'll go over his team this year and see if he has a chance to repeat. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Should be a lot of fun. And Frank, unless there's anything else you got, you ready to sign off on this thing? We got to do a read.
One more read. Trophy smack.
Yeah, do your trophy smack. Go ahead. You want it? Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You got the read.
All right. I got it. There you go. All right. So if you guys want to take your league to the next level, man, with a belt, a ring, a chain, or a regular trophy, check them out here as Frank's putting them up, man. They got a bunch of different ones. They're all customizable. Go to trophysmack.com. Use the link in the description. Make sure you use that promo code GetRight at checkout. That'll help support the channel here, man. And again, this is one of the best things you can do to keep people in the league, making sure they're not leaving. Spice it up with a belt, a chain, a ring. That makes people play for that more so even than whatever your purse is at the end of the year. I know for me, it's usually not about the money. I have no problem kind of splitting pot, chopping the pot with people. But more importantly, I want that belt. I want to have that championship belt across my shoulder, across my waist at the end of the year. So make sure you guys go check out trophysmack.com, promo code GetRight. And then, of course, we got our affiliates here, man. If you guys are watching here, make sure you guys go throw a sub to our affiliate channels. We have Tim and AJ with the Fantasy Frontline podcast. They're going to be starting up soon here for the start of the season. Also doing some Dynasty stuff as well. So make sure you guys go check them out. You got the Check Down podcast with Cody McGoats, Shirtless Pat, and the fellas. They're going to be starting up soon here as well now that the season's starting. Then we have, of course, as I mentioned, our own Dim Boys, Adam J with the Dead Zone Fantasy Show. That's going to be coming here soon. So make sure you guys go support our other affiliate channels. The links are all in the description. And again, like Frank mentioned earlier, if you guys are interested in having your own show, maybe coming on here with us, doing a segment, doing some behind the scenes producing or website work, social media, hit us up at getrightff@gmail.com, or you can hit me up at Rastafarian on Twitter or Sleeper, and we'll talk. So there we go.
I like them boys. Pole position for Lamar this year: 4,000 passing yards, 28 touchdowns, 800 rushing yards, 6 TDs. I hope so, because I got Lamar. Let's do it.
Hey, we don't need those kind of predictions.
Really, last place in NFC East. That's really.
Had to throw.
Last year's winner.
Had to throw that in there. All right, man. So for Classic Mike, man, for Dustin, for Frank over here, for myself, this is Get Right Fantasy Network. Make sure you guys tune in on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays with our Monday Overreaction show. Wednesdays, we're coming at you. Our Monday Overreaction with waiver wire ads. Wednesdays, we're coming at you with our roster management show. buy, sell, trade, and different ad drops that you can do to get your lineups right. And then, of course, Friday start sit game by game breakdowns telling you who we're starting, who we're sitting that week in each game. And then, of course, Mike will have his Sunday morning active inactives, last minute start sit show for anyone that we couldn't get on Friday. Then we'll do that. And yes, he usually does a DFS lineup as well together. And so, yeah, so make sure you guys check us out. We will be continuing here into the season. We're not just here for your draft season. We will, of course, help you manage your team and get it right throughout the year. So cue up the outro, Frank. You got it. Let's get out of here. We'll see you guys on Friday for the championship finale. Peace out. That's not the outro. That's just the overlay.
Oh, that's the screen. Oh,
Try it again.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Fantasy is the play. Marking nothing but I tune every Friday. Strategies provided.